Woo! All right. Let's clock it and lock it, people. Let's get this done. Hey, let's go ahead and subscribe, like, give it to your friends, tell everyone about it across the great country we have. All right? And there's a free PDF you can download and print, give to your class, give to yourself, give to your kids. Also, it's in Spanish. Okay? All right, let's do it. This is Slope Intercept form, and we're going to add a little wrinkle, horizontal and vertical lines. I call this linear too. Okay, so given y equals 5/4 x minus 4, let's identify that slope. All right, remember from the last video, y equals mx plus b. So what does the m stand for? The m is that slope, rise over run, right? The m is the slope. And we call that the rise over run, or the change in y over the change in x. The b right here is the y-intercept, and that y-intercept is always an ordered pair. The x value is known at the y-intercept. The x value is 0, and the y value is whatever that b is. Notice I highlighted that plus with the b. You're going to want to do that when you identify the b in the equations as well. Okay, let's do it. Given y equals 5/4 x minus 4, where's that slope? There it is. It's always that coefficient or the number in front of x. And then the y-intercept is right there. Notice how I got that minus 4. I took that minus with it. Okay, identify the slope. That's 5/4. Identify the y-intercept. I like my y-intercept as an ordered pair. That's proper notation. You should think about that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and graph it. To graph it, you always plot the y-intercept first because that's a known point that makes this equation true. What you're trying to do is you're trying to show me the solutions. So graphically, you're going to show me all of the x and y's that make this equation true. All right? That's important. If I put -4 in for y and 0 in for x, well, -4 equals 5/4 times 0. 5/4 times 0 is 0 minus 4. So -4 equals -4. That's true. So from here, I'm going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. What? I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That represents another solution on the line. So I'm going to go ahead and graph that line. I'm going to try to be as accurate as I can. Put arrows on the end because it goes on forever. Now I want to show you something real quick, if that's all right. What I want to show you is, look at that other ordered pair we got. That other ordered pair is x is 4, y is 1. Now if I substitute that in for y and x, right, if I go over here and I say y equals 5/4 x minus 4, and I let my x value be 4 and my y value be 1. So it looks like this. All right, let's simplify the right-hand side. If I put that in my calculator, the 4's will cancel out, and I have 5 minus 4. Because multiplying by 4 and dividing by 4 are inverse operations. That's why it's nice to know what inverse operations are. 5 minus 4 is 1. Look at that, it worked. Every ordered pair on that line, when I substitute it in, will make both sides equal. All right, that's why we graph. They are the solutions. All right, let's do number 2. Let's identify that slope. The slope is the number in front of x. That's how we change, right? Every time we add or make x one more value, the y value changes by -3. So that's my change. I need a rise over run, my peeps. I need a rise over run. Well, when you have an integer means a non-fraction, you can always just put it over 1 to make it a fraction. And that's the same as -3, right? Because something divided by 1 is always the something. All right, now I have a y-intercept, and that y-intercept is right here. Notice how I took that plus with it, so that gives me a 5. That's my y-intercept. It's my initial value, y-intercept. Those are important points. As we move on, you'll see that is an important point. This is also an important concept. I forgot to write that. Woo! Now I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 1. If I can do it numerous times, I like to. It just makes my line more accurate, right? And you pick any one of those points and you substitute it in for x and y, and it'll make both sides equal. Try it. Pause the video. Try it. If you don't believe, you got to do it for yourself. All right, there it is. Let's move on. Oh my goodness. This is something you haven't seen in this class yet. All right, so y equals, okay, so I know the number in front of x is the slope, so I'm going to highlight that in yellow. Notice how I'm consistent with my highlighting, right? My slope is always yellow. What's going on out here? What's going on out here? Well, that's like plus 0. It's like having a term of 0. So I have a slope of 1, and I want to make it a fraction, so that's 1 over 1, and I have a y-intercept of 0. Okay, so slope 1 over 1, and y-intercept 0, 0. Kind of looks like a little owl, doesn't it? Whoo! Okay, now I'm going to go 0, and I'm going to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Woo! All right. Draw the line. Draw the line. Make sure your cell phone is away, right? Don't let it distract you from your success. The only one that can distract you from your success is you, and you need to own up to it. That's important. All right, so be consistent with your education. Make it a priority in your life. That's important. If you don't make it a priority, no one else can. Okay, here we go. Identify the slope. That's mellow yellow. Look at that negative in front. Take it with it. Identify the y-intercept. Plus uno. All right, let's write it. Negative 3 over 2 and 0,01. Okay, I did A and B. This is money. This is money. I think you're going to love this section. It's fun, and I think it's great. Plot your y-intercept. Now I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 2 in the positive. Remember, you only apply the negative to the rise, not the run. Although, if you want to get crazy, you could write it like that. That means you're going to go up 3 and over 2 in the negative. Look at that. You're still on the same line, right? Okay, but good habits again. So the habit is apply the slope to the rise. But if you have to, you can apply it to the run. Whoosh! I like to make little graphing sounds. Just makes it more exciting. Okay. Now I'm going to go to page 2. Hey, remember the last one when I forgot to make 2 worksheets and I was halfway through before I figured it out? I mean, a front and a back. Look at what I did here. I made so there's no marks coming through. I'm getting professional, people. I'm getting professional. Okay, whoa, what's this? Okay, this is new. Notice how there's no x value, right? There's no x here. Well, when you have no x and you're graphing a line, and we are graphing a line, this is what we call a horizontal line. And what must be true is that every ordered pair you plot must have a y value of negative 3. So if I look at it from a table perspective, x, y, x can be anything. But what must y always equal? It must always equal negative 3. X can be anything because x has nothing to do with this. This is like plus 0 times x, right? So no matter what I put in for x, it's always just going to turn to 0, and I'm going to be left with negative 3. Let's plot those points. So I'm going to go negative 1, negative 3, right here. I'm going to go 0, negative 3, right here. I'm going to go 1, negative 3. That's why we call it a horizontal line, because when you graph y equals a number, it always gives you a horizontal pattern, and that's what graphing is. It's a pattern. There it is. Put arrows on the end. It still goes on forever like this. Still goes on forever. That's done. Oh, that's money. Oh, we got to identify the slope. Okay, slope is measuring steepness, right? So slope is measuring steepness. Or, right, think about walking uphill, walking downhill, or walking on a flat surface. So what's my change from there to there? There is no elevation change. So therefore, my slope is equal to 0. I don't know why I wrote the word slope. I just got so excited. You can just write m equals 0, or you can write 0. I just got excited. The y-intercept, we got one. It's right there. There's my y-intercept. All right, so there's one right there. You can identify it from the graph. You mark like that. So that's 0, negative 3. By the way, also notice it is the constant term, right? And so the constant term is always your y-intercept when you're in slope intercept form. Okay, let's go on to number 2. Now this one's different because notice there's an x equals. Woo! This is not in the form of a slope intercept form. So I can't apply any of the things we know about slope intercept form to this because it's not y equals. But I can still graph it. Okay? So let's think again about the table value, x and y. What must be true about x? X equals 4. Always, always, always. Where's y? Well, there is no y, so that means it's like 0 times y. So y can be anything. All right, let's plot those points. So 4, negative 1, 4, 0, and 4, 1. Look at that, look at that. This is called a vertical line. Vertical. And so I'm going to go ahead and graph that like this. Woo, look how steep that is. Am I right? I mean, I couldn't climb that mountain. It's so steep. That's like El Capitan in Yosemite. Okay, so slope. Okay, now notice the slope is so steep. Because the slope is so steep, there is no number that defines how steep it is. It's too steep. So what we say is that slope is undefined. Undefined. And later you'll know why when we apply the slope formula. But for right now, you just got to know it's so steep that there's no number that defines how steep it is. It's so steep. Now the y-intercept means where do I cross the y-axis? This is the y-axis. It never crosses the y-axis. It's parallel to the y-axis. That means equal distance. So that means there is no y-intercept. It doesn't exist here. Woo, that's it. That's done. That's done. All right, let's do it again. Oh, they're going to have us do it twice now. All right, so let's do this. Y equals 5. I'm going to do a little shortcut. I'm going to go where y is 5. And what do I know about the line y equals 5? I know that every y value must be 5. So every one of those ordered pairs is a y value of 5. Horizontal line when it's y equals. If you have notes, you need to learn to use your notes wisely. All right, that's a really big key to learning, is the ability to extract information from notes and apply it. This is that. Okay, now I'm going to go to x equals negative 1. That's right here. Where else does x equal negative 1? Well, right here, right here, right here. In fact, everywhere every one of those ordered pairs has an x value of negative 1. That's negative, right, because x is negative 1. So negative 1, 3, negative 1, 2, negative 1, 1, negative 1, 0, negative 1, negative 1, right? Okay, let's graph that. This looks like this. Oh, this is fun. Okay, let's talk about this. Graph lines. Okay, I did that. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that for you. Boom. Identify the ordered pair where the lines intersect. What? Intersect means they cross. Well, the only place they cross is right there. Okay, what's the x value? The x value is negative 1. What's the y value? The y value is 5. Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. X is negative 1, y is 5. Sure, that's where they intersect. Okay. Why does it say graph both lines in the coordinate plane? Okay. I'm just going to write okay. But what's going to happen when I actually fix this worksheet is I'm going to say C graph there. Okay? Identify the point of intersection, the ordered pair, negative 1, 5. Okay. Last one. Oh my gosh, they jumbled it up again. They say place in slope intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so what's the first thing I need to do? First thing I need to do is go to the right-hand side and get rid of all of my distribution. So I'm going to write y plus 5 equals negative 1/2 times x is negative 1/2 x. Negative 1/2 times negative 2. Negative times a negative is a positive, and half of 2 is 1. Okay, that wasn't bad. Now look at here. I got these ordered pair, or I got these constant terms, because remember the goal is to get y by itself, so I need to move this over there. So I'm going to do inverse operation of plus 5. The inverse operation for adding 5 is subtracting. I heard it. Okay, so that's like that. This goes to 0, and notice I got y by itself. That's what I wanted. I wanted y by itself. That's it. And I know that's it because it's y equals mx b. I know it's not plus b, but it's like plus a negative b, right? Same thing. So that's it. That's slope-intercept form. Y equals negative 1/2 x minus 4. All right, identify the slope. Let's go. This is money now. We've been doing this all day long. It's negative 1/2. Identify the y-intercept. I can do this standing on my left foot with my left eye closed. What? Maybe I can't. 0, negative 4. Right there. Okay, how do you graph it? Well, plot the y-intercept right here. And then you're going to go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. And now I'm going to take my straight edge and I'm going to draw the solution set. The line represents the solutions. Only ordered pairs that are on the line will make that equation true. You can pick any ordered pair on that line, plug it in for x and y. It'll simplify that side down equal to that side. Every time. Identify the y-coordinate when x is negative 12. Okay, so in an ordered pair, that is the y-coordinate. Whoa, I don't know how to spell coordinate. Right there. That's the y-coordinate. Okay, so let's find it. I'm going to go to my... The reality is you should always go to your original and not go to your simplified version. Because if you made a mistake here, that's going to be wrong. So I'm going to go to my original, and I'm going to substitute in the value for x. So I'm going to go y plus 5 is equal to negative 1/2. Now instead of x, I'm going to replace the x with negative 12. Right there, minus 2. Okay, now I'm solving for y, right? I want to find the y-coordinate. That's the y-coordinate. So I got a distribution. Y plus 5 is equal to negative times a negative is a positive, and a half times 12 is 6. Negative times a negative is a positive, and half of 2 is 1. Now I'm going to combine those like terms, like so. Now the last thing I do is I inverse operation my 5 over, so minus 5 minus 5. And I get y equals 2. You can just write it like that. You can write it as an ordered pair, but I just want the y-coordinate. The y-coordinate is 2. Okay, let's do the next one. This one says, find the x-coordinate. Well, this is the x-coordinate. Okay, so let's find it. I'm going to go back up to my original equation, and where I see a y, I'm going to replace it with 20. So right there is going to be my y. And what do I have to do now? I have to solve this equation for x. Well, I noticed, first of all, that I can combine those. And I also notice that I have distribution. That's right. So negative 1/2 times x is negative 1/2 x. Negative 1/2 times negative 2 is a positive 1. Now, some of you don't like the variable on the right-hand side. Did you know that you can take all of this and put it on the left, and take this and put it on the right, and when I say left and right, I mean of the equal symbol, and you did not change your equation? They're still equal. So if you struggle with this, Just change the sides. And now you're going, oh, yeah, I got that. I know how to do that. Subtract 1. That gives me negative 1/2 x equals 24. Now what am I going to do to both sides? Okay, this is where it gets tricky. Some people do it different. Some people say multiply by the reciprocal. Reciprocal means you flip the fraction. I think that you can divide by fractions. I just think you have to know how to do it. So I'm going to divide by the fraction. When I divide by my fraction, I'm going to write it as divide by negative 1/2, divide by negative 1/2. When you divide by a fraction, you must put it in parentheses. Notice on the left-hand side, when I divide 1/2 by 1/2, or negative 1/2 by negative 1/2, I get 1. That was my goal, 1x. So I have 1x equals, and now I'm going to do 24 divided by negative 1 divided by 2, and that equals negative 48. That is the final answer. Man, I hope you had as much fun as I did. I hope you did. Remember, get focused, get this done, and you will be successful in your life. You got to clock it and lock it. Woo! All right, have a beautiful day. See you soon. Bye-bye. Where's my cursor?